This is Austin St. John, Jason, the original Red Ranger. You are watching the Morphin Network.
So Jason, how you been, man?
I've been really good, I think. Up and down, I'm now kind of, apart from acting, I'm also a filmmaker, and the filmmaker journey is a real roller coaster as well. So it's been fun. So.
Welcome everyone to Morphing Network. I'm Quasar Red, aka Kent Brown, and my partner / producer Ryan, aka Dagger Boy.
Hey guys.
And we have a very special guest with us here tonight, all the way from Singapore. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Jason Chan. I used to be, or I guess still am, the Green Power Ranger from Ninja Storm.
So Jason, can you briefly summarize it about yourself? Tell us about yourself, like summarize.
Oh, wow. Well, I was born in Malaysia, grew up in Australia, left when I was 6. So most of my childhood was in Perth, Australia, a little town in Western Australia. And then I first studied medicine, so I got into medical school, became a doctor, and then decided that I wanted to be an actor. I went to NIDA, this acting school over in Sydney, Australia, and it was after that I got the opportunity to audition for Power Rangers, which was Chapter. And I did that. That was finishing off that. I ended up doing some other sort of theatre work in Australia before coming to Singapore to do a lot of theatre work, TV, and some film. And then recently, I shifted into filmmaking about 4 or 5 years ago. I guess it's something that I always wanted to do. Even on the Power Rangers set, I spent a lot of time with the crew, sort of trying to learn every aspect of filmmaking. With the cinematographer, watching everything, sitting with the sound guy, and asking about all the technical aspects of filmmaking, and even with the editors. So I was fascinated by putting together stories, and so now that's kind of what I do. And it's been a fun ride.
Awesome, that's really good. I'm actually surprised that you actually took a medical career as a first occupation. Like I can actually relate. I actually did take some kind of medical career. I took nursing, and I did take a 180 to researching. So I actually like with you.
I see. Yeah, I mean, it was something I enjoyed at the time. I enjoyed studying it. I guess I enjoyed the university life. It was a long course. It's 6 years in Australia, and then another 3 years of postgraduate. So I spent 9 or 10 years in sort of study mode. It was tough, but what I really loved was going to drama school. That was just so much fun.
What made you get interested in acting? Like, how did you get started and all that?
Yeah, actually, when I was in medical school, I got started doing some sort of amateur acting school classes. I was so passionate about it, and I had so much fun that I spent most nights at that school. So I spent from 2 to 4 hours a night, doing acting training, and not a lot of study back at medical school. So I was skipping the library and skipping the study, and spending all my time with my mates at this acting school in Perth. And I guess that grew my passion for it. I was inspired growing up by all the movies. Of course, you go to the cinema, and you'd sit there and just. Well, I think I was inspired by the adventure of it all. That somehow a movie would move me and take me away to another world. And so when I got into acting, I thought at first that was what I wanted to do, that acting itself would take me to other worlds and everything. And it did to a certain extent, but what I loved most, I think, was creating the world. And that's why I shifted now from acting to filmmaking, which, and me and my business partner, we do every aspect of it, from writing, conceptualizing, writing the stories to, producing, directing, editing. I even score the films. And once we got into that, I was hooked. Like I just couldn't turn back. And although I act in our own, our own dramas and films, it's kind of now the smallest part of what I do. And people say, "Oh, well, you acted in it. Wow, that was great. What was that experience like?" And I tell them I almost forget that I acted in it because there's so many other things to do that I'm so passionate about I get so excited about all these other elements, which are really, I guess, really, really significant to the storytelling.
Yeah, I've heard about how directors, they think it's, they talk about how it's fun getting to create their own world. And
Yeah, speaking about your acting, Secure, now we'll focus on Power Rangers. Can you tell us what was the audition process like for Power Rangers?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but I think I remember, first of all, my agent had called me and said, "Oh, there's this kind of kids sci-fi thing called Power Rangers. Would you like to try out for it?" I was like, yes. I had only seen like the video of the movie, that was shot in Sydney, I think the original movie. And, it's every boy's dream to be a superhero. So I was like, yes, I would love to do that. But it was a cattle call. And a cattle call pretty much means everybody in town was asked to audition, because they just moved down, I think, to New Zealand, and they were, opening it up to everyone in Australia, New Zealand to audition. And so everyone from my drama school, I mean, every single person was there. I got into the waiting room and, "Oh, hi. You knew everyone there, and you kind of felt like, okay, this is a crapshoot. Like, no, there's no way I'm going to get close to this because, everyone's auditioning." And I was paired with someone, I think from a reality TV show at the time. So this is what I mean. Everyone was invited, right? And she wasn't an actress. She was, famous for being on Big Brother or something. I didn't really know, but they paired me with her, and then I had to go into this room, and it was pretty much a cold read. So they just gave us a script, and they just said, "I'll just read through it." It was kind of a guy asking a girl out to prom, and it was really awkward because she was just not giving anything back. She was not acting, and she was trying to read the lines. It was really, really awkward, and it was, to me, an awful audition because you imagine reading opposite someone who just isn't giving anything back, buried in the paper, stumbling over the words, and it clearly wasn't her forte to act. And that was it. They just said, "Okay, thank you very much, both of you. Bye." So I thought, well, okay, that was crap. I wish they'd just given us a read with someone, like normally the casting director, will read really well. We'll try to act with you. We'll try to draw out stuff from you. But it was just, that was it. But it was really simple. It was just like, "Hey, are you going to the prom? If you're going and I'm going, maybe you'd like to go together." That was it. It was like 5 or 6 lines. And so I went out and thought, I'm never going to get this. I'll just go home, forget about it. And that's what I did. And it was literally 6 months later that my agent called me and said, they want to see you again for that thing, Power Rangers, that you auditioned for. And I was like, what? Really? Okay. Yeah, I'll go in, and went in again. And this time they gave me a bit more of a script. And again, it was just a really generic script, this time, I think it was the same one, a little bit longer. It was kind of asking a girl out, and this time I think I was just auditioning with the casting agent, and that was it. And then again, really simple, couple of takes, and then they said, "Okay, see you later." Okay, whatever. And 3 months later, it was really like a 12-month process. And 3 months later, I got a call again, and they said, "Oh, now they want us. You're at the final callback for this." And the producer, which is Greg Sloan, is here, and he would like to see you. So I went into audition with the head casting agent for that company, and then Greg was there, who's of course the writer producer, and he asked me just to read one short script again. Again, I can't remember what the script was, but it was really, really generic. It was like nothing much at all. And then he just said, "Do you have any martial arts training?" I said, "Yeah, a little. I did some kung fu when I was younger." And he said, "Can you just show us something?" I was just like doing a few moves, and he went, "Okay." How do you feel about going to New Zealand for a year? I went, "I'd love that." He goes, "Okay, great."
Nice.
And I think he pretty much just shook my hand and said, "Well, we'll see you soon." It was just like bizarre, because it was, you think that it's tough. You'd have to go in front of a lot of panels. You'd have to do a lot. You have to prove a lot. But it was just, it was pretty simple for me, and yet kind of bizarre, because I thought the first 2 auditions went back great, really. But they didn't ask very much. And then it was interesting, because I got the opportunity to sit with Greg and the 2 writer-producers at the time later, after the series had finished, and I went to LA and met with Disney and met with them, and they were auditioning for the next round. And they said, Jason, why don't you come in? Do you want to help us audition for the next round? I went, yeah, sure. And they had a pile of, I guess, beta or VHS tapes, I can't remember, of all the auditions that were coming from around the world. So I didn't realize that they were still auditioning in the States, Canada, of course, Australia, New Zealand, right, for the next Dino Thunder, I think it was. So they were just put in the VHS tape, and they played it on fast forward. And there were about 3 or 4 people sitting in the room, and they were having their lunch, and they were just going, if anyone thinks one of these people is right, just tell us to pause. And I was like, hey, this is what you do? This is how you find people? Because, people put a lot of heart and soul into their audition. They prepare, as actors. But the interesting thing was, after a while of watching a lot of actors, on fast forward, you kind of got the sense that, I think you can kind of tune into what they want, and you can, I don't know, like it was pretty unanimous when an actor or actress came up, that everyone just went, yeah, let's see this person. And then they press play, and then within about half a minute, you'd know whether they were right or not. And it was fascinating to go through that audition process for myself, and then just see it happen, in front of all the decision-making panel.
But that's actually interesting. Like, we're part of the audition process for the other cast with VHS tapes. So again, you guys were the first Disney season, and I mean, you guys pulled it off, and that was awesome. So, and you guys were very memorable. So, thank you guys.
Yes, you guys did amazing. So, what was the experience like while filming Power Rangers?
It was one of the best experiences I've had in my life. We were on a beautiful island in New Zealand, the North Island of New Zealand, and we were going out to these amazing locations. It was really exciting, Again, a lot of people had told me that, it's going to be this kids, TV show, and do you really want to do it? In fact, it was a hard decision for me. I had to actually leave another show, which I was hosting Playhouse Disney at the time, and I had to leave that to take on this show. And really, it was a tough decision, and there was a schedule conflict and everything. And my agents really sat me down and said, "You really, really want to do this?" And I didn't know how to tell them that, it's every boy's dream to do this. Are you kidding me? So I said, yes, I'm sorry, this is maybe embarrassing. I don't know. maybe it's weird to say this, but I've dreamed of doing this for all my life. I would give anything to do this. And so they said, oh, yeah, okay, sure. Go ahead and do this. And really, I have to say, it's one of the best decisions I ever made, because a lot of people were telling me, well, no, wait for something else, blah, blah, blah. You'll have other opportunities, something more serious, serious acting because you went to drama school. But I just absolutely loved it. It ticked all the boxes for me as a child growing up in, as a boy growing up or a girl growing up. Like, everyone wants to be a superhero, and then they got to be one. And when we arrived there, you can imagine, we went on to set and they were taking us through all the designs, what we were going to become, all our costumes, our megazords, all these things that we were going to look forward to over the year, it was just a dream. And to be taken out to those locations and to act with that cast as well, I have to say that the cast and the crew had a magical experience. And a lot of people talk about this, and I don't know if you'll get to talk to others in our cast or crew, but we often say amongst ourselves privately that it was just really still, to this day, one of the best experiences we ever had, having been on many other sets since then and worked with a lot of other people. And the same thing apparently comes back from the crew that time. It was just a really magical experience because it was first time for everyone. So it was really special. And Disney, of course, injected a lot of kind of new energy into it. And everyone was really inspired to do their best, top what came before. And so everyone was really enthusiastic. But at the same time, we all had this attitude of just, we'll help each other. And, we saw Sally picking up sandbags, helping the crew. And we would help out as much as possible. And one day, Doug came down and said, Sally, put that sandbag down. You can't do that. Like, this is, you can't, you guys are not allowed to touch the gear, oh, well, where we come from, Australia, New Zealand, it's just it's kind of fine. We don't have SAG, and we don't have, these union rules. On our indie sets anyway, we just help out. So we were all kind of, we'll just help each other out. So we had a real bond with the crew and us. And it was great when we came back in Dino Thunder and when we saw them again. And they just said, we miss you guys so much. It was a very, very special time anyway for all of us. And so it was incredibly, incredibly sad about Pua's passing this year, and because we really wanted to have a reunion. That we were hoping that it would be last year, but everyone's schedules just couldn't make it. And I know some of the Ninja Storm guys have been doing Comic-Con and other shows, and I can't wait to get over one day. But it's a long way for me, and it's a long way for all of us. But it was incredibly sad too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was.
Pua's passing. He was actually one of my favorite Red Rangers. So I mean, your cast in general was really, really inspiring. Like, again, like you said, when you mentioned that if this was the right choice to make for you, you did make the right choice. Like, you inspired a lot of people. Like, I don't know if you've seen, like, at conventions, like Power Ranger conventions, they're cosplaying as you. A lot of Green Samurai Rangers.
Oh wow!
I know someone who could probably be like your stunt double or your twin.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's really cool. Oh, one more thing. Speaking of your cast and crew, Katrina Davis and Katrina Browie, they both say hi and they send their love.
Oh,
Right.
Oh yeah,
Really?
yeah. I'm in touch with them too. They're amazing.
Yeah, I love them both. Like, we had such a great time, and always just hanging out in the trailers, just chatting and just hanging out. It was just a really, really magical time with really, really magical people. And again, you think that people say that, but there are a lot of sets that you're on where it's not like that at all. You don't bond with the people. It's just kind of a come and go experience. But yeah, we really, really love that time. And every time we catch up, whether it's online or in person, I think I caught up with Katrina Brown and Sally many years ago, about 8 years ago or something like that in New Zealand, and it was just so special. They're really cool.
Yes.
Yes. I just noticed it too that they were your cousins in in the show. Katrina. Yeah. I noticed it
Yeah.
too.
Who are their parents?
Yeah, who were their parents?
Yeah, I have no idea. Well, their parents were Lothal, right?
Well, that's an
Yeah.
uncle.
They were his uncle.
Oh yeah, they're uncle. Yes, that's right. And yeah, so I don't know exactly how we're cousins, but kind of loosely related.
So moving on to the next question. So Jason, do you have any fun behind the scene moments while filming Power Rangers? Any pranks? Anything? Want to discuss?
I know. I had pranks played on me.
Oh,
I
okay.
was really serious. I was trying to be, a good professional, drama school trained actor, and I was like trying to. So there was this thing. I mean, I had this reputation where they just, I think the cameraman, his name is Cam actually, always just said, yeah, he always just does. He always manages to get every take. Like how do we distract him? How do we make him fail? Because I just wanted to be professional. Like I wasn't trying to show anyone anything, but just professionalism, right? That's what I was trained for. But yeah, I remember Paul would always try to make me laugh in a scene. That's why I think I miss him so much, because he was always the prankster, constantly on set, like always laughing in the background, laughing on set, laughing in the scene, trying to prank me. Can't remember exactly anything that he did in particular. Like he was always trying to make me crack up. And then whenever I had to act with guinea pig, they would try to change the lines or make me crack up, because the guinea pig that they would have is obviously not hair. It was a green screen, and then they'd have this box on the end of a stick, and they'd bounce the stick in front of me, and they'd say all the lines, right? And usually it's the first AD saying all the lines. So again, they change the lines, they tell me different things, and I would just kind of just answer back just with everything that I had to say to get the tape in the can. And because I was stressed out. It was the first time I was shooting on, they were shooting on film, and I was like, oh, it's really expensive. You can't waste the takes. And they get stressed as well when, takes just, if it's wasted or the actors stuff up, another take. But they'd always just try to crack me up. And I'd often fall asleep, actually. It's the only thing that was a little bit unprofessional about me, is I had to sit in that cam chair a lot in the early episodes, a lot. Just sitting there at the computer screen while they set up all around me, and I quite often just fall asleep there. I think there were a couple of times where they rolled cam and I was snoring, and they'd have the entire cast and crew just behind the camera, just watching me as they roll camera me. That was the only time that I think I let my guard down. It was tiring, and it was hot in that thing, and yeah, I had to sit there for a long time before I got out of, ninja ops.
I mean, that set was really cool. And the chair, come on, the chair, that's a good job. Like you're sitting there and like you can control everybody. So
Yeah, it was fun, but I couldn't wait until I was getting outside. And so that was another thing. I was totally paranoid because, again, young drama school graduate, and I was like, kind of wasn't sure why I was chosen in the first place, because the audition process was just so kind of simple, right? It was just 3 really simple scenes, and then I went, oh man, in that first 2 weeks, I'm sure they've decided that I'm not good enough, because they didn't call me in for the first 10 days. And I thought, oh man, everyone else was going in and doing scenes, and Cam wasn't, on set at all. And so I thought, I was paranoid that they were going to send me home. And I thought they'd changed their mind. They found another Cam or another Green Ranger, and they're going to send me home. So I was stressing out and trying to practice my lines, doing the best that I could before I got on set. But eventually I got on, and all was good.
What are your thoughts on the Power Ranger fandom as a whole?
Oh, it's part of the biggest satisfaction that we've all gotten from this whole thing. Like, I don't think any one of us expected that we'd be having interviews. What is it? 15 years? How many years is it since Ninja Storm?
2003.
2003, yeah.
Yeah, so 15, 16 years going.
Yeah.
There was no way we thought it was a good show, it would be a good gig, and we'd move on. We were honored to be part of it. We knew that there was this kind of Power Ranger universe around it, but there was no way that we thought at that time that we would be going to conventions 15 or 16 years after, and that we'd still be supported by, talked to and befriended by the fandom around the world. So I'm really, really grateful. And that's, I guess, one of the biggest reasons why I think it was the best choice I ever made, and I think for the cast as well that they ever made. Like, it's just an honor to be part of that universe and an honor to be part of the fandom.
Yes, and we all love you, Jason.
Right on.
So we all love you, man.
Yes, you are great.
So going away from Power Rangers for a while, so we all know that you're a writer, a director. What is it like producing your own production company?
It was kind of a natural departure, I think. Well, it's not a departure. I guess it was consolidation more than anything. That all these aspects of storytelling that I love as an actor, I was constantly trying to put it together, even when I was acting in shows, even in Power Rangers, like trying to work out, what was the samurai's journey? What was my actor's journey through the whole, every episode and through the whole journey of the show. I was analyzing that, studying the scripts, learning a lot from the screenwriters at the time. And I also liked all these aspects, like cinematography, sound, editing. And so I was learning all those things along the way. And when we finally got to direct our own things and create our own show, one of them's called What Do Men Want? And I think you can go to this toggle.sg and you can watch it there. It's a Singapore-based channel, but it became a TV show here in Singapore. And it was just 13 episodes about life as an actor. And so it was kind of my sort of tipping of my hat to all the actors out there who are gigging and auditioning and stuff. And it was just, my friend and I wrote a series about two actors looking for love in all the wrong places. So it's a romance drama, but it's really about actors and all the hijinks that they get up to. And so I think you can watch it on toggle.sg. And then we made a web series called Perfect Call, and that's, I believe, is going to iTunes soon. It was on Netflix for 3 years, and now we're going on iTunes and several other platforms. But that was something that was really dear to my heart because it was about a high school crush, and it was about first love, and so it was. Please do check it out if anyone's out there can find it. It's also a Naver TV cast, but it was something that I'm intensely proud about and really dear to my heart because its expression at the best level. Like I got to write it and got to act in it and got to direct, edit. I wrote the music too. So it was just all us, and the process was wonderful. It was just 6 months. My business partner and I just sat down and said, let's take our time and just do something. It was a web series at first, just 10 episodes. And we ended up winning a few web festivals in the States. I think it was Toronto, LA, and Atlanta. And then we got picked up by Netflix, which was crazy as a
Wow.
web series. Yeah, and we had really no connection. I tried to reach out to connections, anyone, but no one was answering me, But after we won the web series festivals, I guess Netflix somehow saw it on the news and we contacted us and picked it up. And then it led to our opportunity to create our first film, which was Chimami Tofu. And that has been an amazing journey. Again, it's been tough because distribution is not easy. But it's now the longest running film in Singapore. And we're still in cinemas a year after we premiered. And we get, kind of 80-90% houses. Well, just the other day, on Saturday, we had practically a full house. There were 2 seats left that weren't sold. I mean, people buying seats all the way down to the front row. So it's like incredibly, incredibly heartwarming to have that when you created something. I mean, it was so satisfying to be part of Power Rangers, but I'm an actor saying someone else's lines, wearing someone else's costume. When you create something from scratch and you wrote the lines, and then there are other actors saying your lines, and then you get to be on set and get to play and act in that world and create a whole other world, then it's really, really satisfying. So I hope that there certainly have been some Power Ranger fans who've seen the film when we premiered in LA and San Francisco, when we were there for film festivals. But I know a lot of them haven't seen a lot of the work that I've been doing since, and I hope that some of you convert over to some of the stuff that we're doing, because it's certainly a different genre altogether. There are no explosions, there are no fancy weapons. I know that some who have seen it and didn't know what to expect have loved the stuff that we're doing. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool that you're working really good films, and that's kind of cool. Always get a full house in your film. That's really a great achievement, man. Great achievement.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really satisfying because you really just want to reach people, and it was the same sort of satisfaction I think that we had when we first did Power Rangers, because during that time it was just kind of really the start of the internet. I remember we were going on forums, to see, responses to reviews, and there wasn't Facebook Live, there wasn't really, YouTube was just kind of starting and wasn't really known about. I mean, we were still taking pictures with film, and having, so a lot of our pictures from those days we had to develop, and it was great, recently, because everyone was sort of digging out these photos and scanning them and putting them online. Imagine how many photos we would have had if we'd been more in the digital era. But it was a long time ago, and we certainly didn't know what people were or how people were really reacting around the world until many years later, when the internet really.
Yeah.
The actor that played Blake, when he was at Morphicon, he had all these old pictures that were from one of those old cameras that the picture would come out at the bottom.
Polaroids, yeah.
He showed us a lot. I was wow, like a fox. I was literally looking at them.
Yeah. So we had all these Polaroids because the makeup artists and then the continuity people had Polaroids for continuity. Because there were no digital cameras, or they just started getting digital cameras. I think I had one of the first ones that came up, and the quality was really poor. So they used Polaroids, and we had Polaroids of us, sitting in a makeup chair with wigs on, with sweating or whatever, of scenes. There were so many Polaroids going around, but of course they were still kind of poor quality, not amazing. But that's how we remember, a lot of scenes, and a lot of us tried to keep them. Good memories.
Where do you see Cam Watanabe at this point in his life? Where do you see your character now in 2019?
Oh, wow. I hope that he's, really built up a new Ninja Ops. I hope that the Ninja Ops is still underground. I love that. I hope it's huge. I hope he's developing like 4 or 5 new Megazords and new weapons and stuff, like an arsenal of cool gear. I see him probably not doing as much field work, but I hope he still gets to go out there and kick some ass, when he wants to. But with all his cool gear.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe only when the team really needs his help. But I see him sort of kicking back most of the time, and controlling everything from his keyboard and Ninja Ops, which is it's really similar to me. Like I love, back here I've got this dark, empty room. It's my my spare bedroom, but we do all our film production here, and I love using the computer and all the gear and I love tech, and anything new that I can get my hands on, I love to get that and use it for filmmaking and sit in my little man cave and tinker with it and play. So I would hope that that's what Cam's up to.
Let's hope he got the Samurai Star Megazord working again.
Yeah, technically your character did come back 3 years ago in that anniversary special, but it's not the same. You weren't there. I was like,
Yeah.
We saw your suit, but it wasn't you inside it.
Yeah, your suit was there. Oh, by the way, I have actually one question. Extra. Whatever happened to Cybercam? Do you know whatever happened to him? Because they didn't explain if he died or got destroyed.
Yeah, I don't know. He just, I think the last we saw of him was he just crawled under that table, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope he's still around. I would hope that if Cam was around, that Cybercam would still be there. It was really fun to play, and I know one of you, I think you had that question, right? Why was he the way he was? I think Doug came to me one day, because the interesting thing was that they were writing the scripts as they went along, so they didn't have it all completely planned out. They were kind of creating stuff, and he came to me one day and he said, "Hey, we're thinking of creating an alter ego for you. What do you think? What do you want to do with it?" I said, "Yeah, that's great. I mean, as an actor, you just love that." Yeah. And he said, "Yeah, what do you want to do?" And I think I just said, "Yeah, can I just do the exact opposite to what I am? Cam is kind of a little bit reserved, sarcastic, pointed, serious. I just want to be this kooky, airhead surfer dude that's just kind of, just crazy." He said, "Go for it. Yeah, we'll create that." And then I came in and just played with it, and it was just so much fun. Those episodes around, I think I had a great time, because it was if I remember correctly, it was a samurai's journey. And then there was that Fly episode, which I loved, and then Cybercam came in, and it was something like that, right? And I got to do so many cool things, right? The Samurai's Journey was just cool, and, just from an actor's point of view, and having a little journey to play through, an emotional journey with meeting mom and dad, for the past.
And good old Uncle Lothar.
And then to do crazy stuff like the twitchy Fly and Cybercam was just so much fun. I such a great time.
What is your advice to any aspiring actor or actress?
Advice?
Yes.
I don't know. I think nowadays it's so different. Nowadays you can do stuff. Like back in my day, you really had to be cast in something because you couldn't create anything by yourself. Nowadays, what I would say is don't learn how to act, because I think it is a craft. Having said that, there are a lot of actors that maybe they don't need it. They're born naturally talented. I don't think I was. I think I needed to learn stuff. And you know what? I loved the learning of it as much as doing it. I really loved going to drama school. I mean, that was a really, really special time in my life. I'll always drink to that too. So if you like acting, you love it, go to drama school because you love it even more. And you learn so many things that will allow you to have a longer career, because when you become an actor, they'll want you to do that take over and over again. They want you to be able to draw on those emotions, whatever it is, for that scene, and that will give you a much longer career and will allow you to really relax on stage and on set. But having done that, I think nowadays what I would do is then, get together with a bunch of friends and grab a camera or your phone and go and create stuff. And that's exactly what we did. We didn't know how to make film. We didn't know anything about camera. And then what we did was just grabbed one and started editing and learned all about it. We made a lot of crap. And then suddenly it got better. And people wanted to buy it, and people wanted to watch it, and we started sort of building our own fan base around our content, and that has been so satisfying. And I would say to actors out there that maybe don't always think just acting. A lot of actors they just act and not interested in storytelling, but there's so much satisfaction that can be gotten from telling your own stories, like writing, creating, something, directing it, editing it, putting it on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, just creating content that's so exciting that it's so easy to do nowadays. That's what I would advise.
Right on.
So Jason, there is one. I have a special question from one of your biggest fans. His name is Colin the Blur. Colin, if you're watching this, I'm actually reading your question. He's asking if you ever watched the first ninja film. So basically, he made. He's a YouTuber. He made this film. It's basically a prequel to your series. It's also Ninja Storm. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I haven't watched it, but I will.
I'll send it.
Yeah. Can you after the interview? Can you send it to him?
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah. So basically, his film was basically like a prequel to your season.
Wow.
Yeah. So like how the origins of the Winning Academy, the Thunder Academy, and the Samurai, something like that. So that's kind of cool.
That's so cool. Thank you for doing that, and I can't wait to watch it.
Awesome. So don't forget your job after this. All right.
Right away.
All right. So our final question before we read some comments from the fans, who actually want to say hi to you. Any upcoming projects you would like to share to your fans?
Not at the moment. I think we have another film in the works, but we're kind of writing that now. It's quite exciting. It's going to be a film made in Singapore about Singapore, but kind of not like Crazy Rich Asians. About Singapore as a kind of a financial center of the world. It's a love story and a drama, and I think anyone who watches any of our other stuff will get a sense of what we love to do. Like it's really kind of a drama, romance, and a little bit of intrigue. So that's what we're working on. Jimami Tofu will keep going and keep playing around the world, and it will start to have event screenings around the world soon too. We're starting a new company, which is very exciting, which is going to bring cinema outdoors. Now that's a bit cryptic because I can't say much more about that, but it's going to use technology to bring cinema to all sorts of spaces around the world. And we're very excited about that. So
Awesome.
I'll probably announce something on my Facebook page at some stage. But that's exciting. Yeah.
So keep your eyes out.
Keep your eyes up.
Did you get to keep any props or like your Ninja Ops jacket or some? Like your little, did you get to keep your mini samurai amulet?
I got to keep my costume.
Nice. That's it?
Really? Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it was good. I don't know where it is. My wife put it away somewhere in a box, but I got to keep my costume.
Sweet. Awesome.
Yeah.
You're the first.
And-
I don't know. A lot of people, actors I met, they said they can't even keep your costume. Actually, you're the first one. Heard.
I don't know if anyone knows that, but I just went to the costume department and I just begged for it. Just went.
I see.
Yeah, all right.
And Power Rangers is an American adaptation of the Japanese show Super Sentai. Did you know your Japanese counterpart Shuri Kenjer was a baseball player?
Really?
Yeah.
Famous?
No, I meant the character himself was baseball themed. Yeah.
Ah, I see.
That's why the samurai sword looked like a baseball bat and your morpher was his baseball ball.
No wonder. Wow. Okay.
So,
All right. So we have some comments. I'll read
Yeah.
some. I'll
Okay.
try to get as much. So Kate Rickerby says hi.
Yeah. Hi, Kate.
Bebo Conception, sorry if I butcher your name, says Samurai Storm Ranger form. I guess he just says hi.
Hi.
Genesis Messina, or one of our members, says hello.
and she gives you art smiley
Hello.
faces with hearts in them.
Yeah. What was it? Oh, sorry, let's put that down. Okay. What was it like filming with the Dino Thunder Rangers, especially with Jason David Frank? Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, he was cool. I think we were all honored to meet him and to work with him. Like, he was the start of it all, right, from the American series. And I was a little bit kind of nervous about meeting him. We actually had the hotel pool where we were staying, and he was doing his, daily routine, and he is ripped and fit as anything. I'm like, I'm just kind of not that ripped, and I wasn't even swimming. I was just in the pool by the side, just relaxing. But he was such a nice guy. Like, came up and said, "Hey, yeah, I heard that they just filmed it really well. You're really popular. I so much talk about you guys. So nice to come back, to film with you guys." He was a really, really nice guy, down to earth, and really fun filming with that team. We had a lot of fun because, well, it's two groups coming together and then just looking around. Like, it's double the fun. But there was also a little bit of competition, I think, because it was funny, but there was competition in morphing. So whenever they would morph, like, you could kind of sense that they were trying to do it a little bit better, faster, better, get it in one take. And we heard from the crew that they kind of upped their game for this episode when we were together, because I guess when another team come on board, I don't know, people compare.
I see.
And we were always kind of known as this. We had our fun, but when we got into a scene and a take, we would just pull it together, and so you could kind of sense that sense of competition, just morphing and getting it right. It was fun.
Kevin Thompson Jones says, "Are you going to try your hand on helping a film a Power Rangers season if offered?" So basically, he's asking, would you help film a season with them or help write a season if you were offered?
If I was offered, yeah, I think that would
Awesome.
be really fun.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
Ryan Earl Thomas says, "Did you guys watch the Hurricane Sentai? Oh, basically, did you watch your Sentai counterpart while you were guys filming Power Rangers? Your season, right?
I think we were told not to, so that we at the time anyway, of filming that, so we didn't kind of, make any comparisons or try to be like them at all. They just wanted to be fresh. And then afterwards, I don't think I've ever watched it, but I should.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting because you're actually the person that said it, because right now the current, or like the new seasons, the actors, when I talked to them, they said like they have to watch Sentai. I'm like, that's actually interesting. Yeah, it's actually strange for you, season.
Okay.
Sorry, but your name is Tai Son Lu. Between you and Cam, which do you think that the two of you have in common?
Me and Cam. Well, again, all those things. I love tech. I'm a little bit sarcastic. So Cam is very mean, really mean. Like, it was just right up my alley to be, pointed, sarcastic. Not easy to get to know straight away. It wasn't too much of a stretch to play him. Let's put it that way.
So Rob Sagowski is saying, "Count to PowerCon next year, please and thank you."
I believe me, I am, Rob. I'm trying my best. I really wanted to go. We all really wanted to go last year. We're trying to make it happen. My wife was pregnant. Then we have now a two-year-old, and it's so difficult. I don't know if any of you have children, but it's so difficult, and I'm a soft dad. I don't like to see my child crying for any reason, and it's so difficult, bringing up a toddler, as I'm sure many people know, that I won't leave my wife alone for a long period of time without me helping. And that's why I couldn't make it last year, and that's why I couldn't make it this year. But once he can travel and he can come with us, I'm definitely going. And, we've been talking amongst ourselves with the Ninja Storm group, and again, really, really sad because we wanted to do it all together last year, but of course, we're now going to be able. We won't be able to do it with Core, but we will do it, I think, at some stage in the near future, and we're hoping next year will be the one.
Neil Johnson's asking, what are the highs and lows of filming Ninja Storm?
The highs were always, as I said, on location. Were there any lows? No, not really. The lows for me was when I was kicked in the face by. I can't remember which. I was in the museum, and I can't remember which monster did it. But,
Motor drone.
Motor drone, yes. I was.
I remember them, yeah.
So the choreography is done very, very fast in the sense that we get on set, and Koichi Sakamoto, who was choreographer, fight choreo and action director at the time, he would just come on set, and in 5 minutes before we're about to do a take, he'll do, okay, so he's going to do this, you're going to duck, then you're going to come up, block, do a punch, then you'll do a kick, this, and then you're going to duck again. He can't see you, so make sure you duck. And that's basically about it. And the stunt guys, they have this down because they're doing it every day. That's what they do. That's what they train for. And they're really, really good, right? They're all really, really careful not to hurt you. So they've got stuff on every corner, foam and everything. Make sure actors don't get hurt. You don't get scratched or anything. But, I wasn't that great at just remembering all the moves. And they can't see you because once they're in the costume, they've got tiny, tiny little slits sometimes to watch you from. And to generate the spin to do a flying kick, like a roundhouse kick, they have to move pretty fast. And so they do. And one time I was supposed to duck and I just forgot. And it just came to my face and whacked me in the face. I thought I'd broken my jaw. Like I couldn't open my jaw. Like it just jammed my jaw right up into the joint. And but I was so trying to be professional. I didn't want to tell anyone. I couldn't speak, but I had to get off set, and I was like, "Oh my God, I think I have to go to hospital because I think he freaking broke my jaw. It was such a good kick." I just kept acting on, but with a very, I don't know if you'll notice it, maybe you can watch the episode, but it was a really stiff jaw from that day onwards. But eventually something came to, and luckily I didn't break anything, but that was pretty scary.
Everett Sanchez says, what was it like to work with the hamster?
Yeah, well, the hamster is bouncing off, so it was fun, though. I mean, it was really fun doing that. I had no idea what it was going to look like, but I was amazed by their animation.
In the Sentai, it was a hamster, and they just kept it. It was like a puppet.
Yeah, right. But they tried to do it with a real hamster, and that after about 2 hours, we're like, we're not doing this. This is so they tried to have a trained hamster go around and do stuff. But yeah, I remember the first day they brought in a real hamster and they tried to do it, and it wasn't going to do anything. So they said, we're out of here. This is all got to be CGI.
Edward UN, I'll read a few more questions, then we'll be done. Edward says, who is the best martial arts? Oh, he's asking who in your cast is better at martial arts.
I think Core. It was really, really acrobatic. He could do spinning flying kicks, and yeah, Core was pretty good.
Did you learn anything new industry-wise working on Power Rangers? That's a good question.
A few things. Well, one, as a filmmaker, or budding filmmaker, I was learning a lot because, as I said, I would study camera, I would study what they would do with lights. I remember the cinematographer at the time he knew that I was so fascinated by it and that I wanted to learn that he would often ask me what the f-stop would be before he said it. And, what's it going to be, Jason? I said, T5? T4? Which is the f-stop is the aperture on the camera that they dial in. And it was great for me to learn all that stuff, but he was great. And I would sit there and as he was setting up lights and everything, I'd ask him questions. And again, aspiring actors who want to learn that stuff, people love to teach. And he was teaching me stuff. He was going, oh, no, this light has to do this. This is going to be separating you from the background. I'm putting in this light to sort of spot Sally over here. And they loved it. And the same thing with sound. I asked them everything. What are you recording on? What sort of microphone do you use? Why? Blah, blah, blah. So I learned a lot of stuff about that. And I love that. I love that. As an actor, you have so much time on set that you can just learn other things. But as an actor, what I learned was to not rehearse too much. And, as a sort of theater-trained actor, I was coming on and trying to rehearse everything and, trying to plan how I was going to do everything. And then I turned up and I saw these amazing actors, Glenn and Sally, poor I just mentioned the names because they were the first ones that came to mind. But when I came to set, I just saw them learning their lines sometimes for the first time in a makeup truck, just reading through them. And they wouldn't rehearse, they wouldn't plan anything, they just do it. They just come on set and, the directors or the cinematographers would all stand back and say, hi guys, just do it. Whatever you like, just do it. And they would just come on set, adapt to the situation, adapt to the people, adapt to everything around them, and just do it. They'd come over and they'd just sit down if there was a step there, and if there wasn't, they wouldn't. And I was like, I was so stuck with my rehearsals that I was like, gosh, I've got to learn what they do, which is just, learn the lines, throw it away. And, they weren't worried at all because a lot of them said that they had done a lot of acting in their childhood, I believe. They were also teenage actors. And I wasn't. I hadn't been. And I come from theater where we have to rehearse a lot. And so I learned from them. I was studying them every day. I was like, gosh, I've got to learn that. I've got to just learn my lines on the spot and just read it kind of cold. And then I feel like I got better as I studied them and what they were doing.
All right, guys. So this wraps up our interview. Thank you, Jason, for being our special guest. Where can they find you in social media?
I have a Facebook page. Can I remember what it's called? My Facebook page is just Jason Chan, and I have an Instagram. My Facebook page is Jason Chan Power Ranger, and I have an Instagram account. They can follow me up. I think it's. Let me just look it up.
Something is it Jason K Jan KK?
Just Jason Chan KK.
All right. Kent, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at brown_K93, as well as my regular Facebook page.
Yes.
And where can we find you, Dagger Boy?
You can find me on Instagram, Dancer247, and please like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and Twitter. Again, thank you again, Jason, for being our special guest. This is Morphin Network, and thank you guys for being part of this awesome interview. We're signing out, guys. That's the wave. Bye-bye.